when they get into training camp and they get into, more importantly, the preseason games, how he looks to me will matter. And if he does look overwhelmed, I'm not saying he's going to, but I'm saying that if he does, the Bears should have an open mind about when they are going to play him. I know that Matt Eberflus has already said that there's no debate that he's the starter, and hopefully he looks exactly like that. However, if he doesn't, which would be totally fine, the greatest player of all time didn't play immediately, and so did a zillion other quarterbacks. He does not have to be out there week one. I think the Bears should have an open mind as to really look at what is and what's best for Caleb. That's all I'm saying. Ho completely disagrees to the point that he's silent. Nick is giving me a little bit of a nod. Steven wants to run out of here.
So your point is, if he sucks in the preseason, he should sit.
Yeah, that's correct.
If he sucks in the preseason, we have bigger problems.
Why? It doesn't have to be that big of a problem. It doesn't. That would be a normal thing.
I'll say this. I think his playmaking ability, you could see it both ways. Could it be a detriment to what he can do in the NFL? Yes, but Ryan Poles, he was on the Adam Schefter podcast, and he said that was one of the reasons why they loved Caleb Williams. The creativity, the ability to, it's like he called it, Ryan Poles, it's a new outlier in sports, guys that are creative and feel the game. I think that's what Caleb Williams does really well, but I think there needs to be a balance to it. He can't keep doing what he was doing in college in the pros, but it is also what Ryan Poles and that staff looked at that made him special. So I think there needs to be a balance to it, Carm, but
the only reason not to play Caleb would be if you don't have the infrastructure in place. They went out, they drafted Rome Odunze, they spent a 4th-round pick on Keenan Allen, they have all the weapons around him. Unless 5 guys show up on that offensive line that literally cannot play in the NFL, it is a waste of time and resources to not play Caleb Williams and get him as many reps as possible as soon as he can get them. And I also disagree, after your 5-minute whatever that was, the first sentence you said I disagreed with, which was that this season is only about Caleb Williams. That is no longer the case. It's a lot about Caleb Williams. You now have a 4-year window to win, and this is one of those years. And I'm not saying they're going to win a Super Bowl, but you need it's not acceptable to win 3 games this year, but come out of it and be like, oh, Caleb was good. No. This is a 4-year window to win that you have. It's not just about Caleb Williams. It's a waste of Keenan Allen's talent to just come in here and say that dropping a 4th-round pick on Keenan Allen, they're not trying to win it all either.
I'm not worried about Keenan Allen in his 18th year in the NFL, whether he has a great year. But the goal is to win the Super Bowl. You've got to get an elite quarterback.
I'm just saying it's wrong to say that this is only about Caleb Williams. That was the case the last 2 years when it was Justin Fields, and you got your answer, and they moved on. This roster is now close enough to win. Otherwise, you could just make that argument like for any team any year about their quarterback.
Hold on. This is a rookie quarterback drafted number 1 overall. There isn't anything on the Bears roster that's even within range of how important it is with what happens with this guy.
Again, totally disagree. You drafted a guy number 9 overall, and if the quarterback ends up not making it, he better still be good.
Yeah. He's not going to be.
That's Kevin White. How many years have we spent talking about Kevin White and how big of a bust that is?
Dude.
Just because Rome Odunze came in with the 9th pick behind Caleb Williams doesn't mean that he doesn't matter as much as that Kevin White pick mattered.
Of course.
He's a 1st-round pick. This is not just about Caleb.
Of course he matters, and he's not going to be good if the quarterback sucks. That's not.
That's inaccurate. DJ Moore was pretty damn good last year.
Listen, Rome Odunze is not going to get to his full Rome Odunze if Caleb Williams can't play. right? Will Rome Odunze be a better long-term wide receiver in the NFL if let's just say the Bears waited 5 weeks to get him on the field, and then all of a sudden Caleb figured out whatever he was missing in the preseason, then he comes out and he's nails. How good is that for Rome Odunze? Wouldn't it be better for Rome Odunze in that situation versus let's see if what we can squeeze out of him with Tyson Bagent or with Caleb who can't play with Caleb who can't play? I don't
even understand what you're saying anymore, to be honest.
Forget the Tyson Bagent, but I just got confused. The point is this: would you rather have take this theory?
I'd rather not waste everything they did from literally the moment the season ended. Every single move was to build the situation for Caleb to play and to play well. And you're coming here on June 24th and being like, maybe he shouldn't play.
I'm asking you a question. Okay, hold on. If he looks bad in the preseason, Hogue, what do you do?
I play him week 1.
Yeah, I still play him, Carm.
Because he needs the play.
Okay. I mean, so I disagree. Okay, fine. Then that's fine. Then I disagree. I absolutely disagree.
What are you gaining by sitting him? Like what? Like literally, I want specifics.
He's not ready. If he's not,
what does he gain by sitting?
He gains time outside of the spotlight to work on his things.
So he magically, this whole concern about he's too much of a playmaker and he's just going to somehow learn how to not do that from being on the bench watching Tyson Bagent play football.
Yes, he would need to. If he really was not there, then I wouldn't just throw him to the wolves. The Bears have this is what they do. Mitch Trubisky was not ready to play. They threw him out there because Mike Glennon sucked.
Yeah, but the thing you're missing, if you're going to go back to all these random quarterbacks you brought up,
not random.
Was that, but who were they sitting behind? Because you didn't mention those names. You didn't mention that Aaron Rodgers was sitting behind a Hall of Famer. You didn't mention that Tom Brady was sitting behind Drew Bledsoe, who was also a first-round draft pick and was pretty damn decent.
Oh, hold on. Tua, who led the NFL in yards last year, was sitting behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's middle of the road dudes all over the place. They're not just all sitting behind Hall of Famers. If you go back in time, Alex Smith, he's middle of the road, decent quarterback.
But you just brought up a guy who doesn't even like.
I would say this, Mark.
There's still questions about Tua. He hasn't made it.
There is, for sure. I think that
but he was still their prized dude. And
I'm just saying you changed your argument to fit a quarterback that was not anywhere near Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers' level.
I don't think the point is who they sat behind.
It matters. My question to you was, what is he gaining by not playing versus playing?
He would be learning. He would be getting comfortable in the system. He would be getting himself acclimated to the NFL.
You're missing the point of sitting. The point of sitting is to avoid what happened to Justin Fields, throwing him out there in a situation where he's got no chance to win, especially after not getting the first team reps all offseason. Okay? So there's some magical class you go through where you're just sitting on the bench learning everything. It's just making sure that you're in a situation to have success.
You're not shockingly, no one is getting the hype. I'm not saying to sit.
Aaron Rodgers didn't sit because he had to develop. He sat because they had a Hall of Fame quarterback to start. Same thing with Jordan Love.
That's that situation. I'm not going to go through every situation.
Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. They had a first-rounder playing. It wasn't until
But you're missing,
Drew Bledsoe got hurt and they realized that Tom Brady was coming along pretty good. It wasn't some mastermind plan.
You're missing the hypothetical though. I'm talking about him not looking good. If he doesn't look good, you're plowing straight ahead.
Yeah, I already told you the situation in which I don't play him is if DJ Moore dies and Rome Odunze gets hurt, Keenan Allen's out there.
Okay.
He's not playing.
Okay.
Darnell Wright.
Okay.
And Tevin Jenkins
That's
get lost to sea.
That's fine.
And if all those things happen and none of them are there to insulate this quarterback that literally every single move you made this offseason is to get him out there in week 1 and play him, that's the situation I don't play him.
Okay. All right. To me, it matters how he looks in the preseason. I expect him to look good. I expect him to be playing week 1. please understand the nuance to those who want to throw me off the balcony, Braggs. I'm talking about the nuance. I'm not saying that I don't want him to play week 1. I'm saying that I want to see how he does in the preseason, and I want to have his best interest at the forefront of every decision they make. I don't care that they drafted Rome Odunze and got freaking Keenan Allen. You still have, I have no idea who's playing center. I have no idea if Tevin Jenkins is going to be healthy. Nate Davis may or may not show up. These are the people that are protecting him. There are some variables here that could happen in the preseason where it might not be in his best interest. I'm looking, sure, I'd love to see the Bears in the playoffs this year. I'd love to see him cross over the 8.5 win barrier that where Vegas is putting it at. I'd love to see all of that. But what I'd really like to see is the Bears win a Super Bowl one day. And so it matters to me. It matters to me how he looks. Period.
People are asking Poppy
Now,
to disown you.
And Kevin, the store, my guy, naked man across the way, says he'll catch me. He's in the alley. Y'all should thank me for this. I am bringing up a real thing. And I know that, by the way, I know they're not going to do this.
You're not bringing up a real thing because there's no situation, unless he's hurt, that he's not on the field for the first offensive snap against the Tennessee Titans.
I will remind you of this conversation during the season. I hope I don't have to, but I'm going to bet that I will.
And in what context?
In the
that he's struggling in week 5 and you're going to make an argument that he should have sat week 1?
Maybe. I hope that doesn't happen. Okay. But like, how's this? You're going to need a little perspective this season. I'm sure that you'll find it, Hogue, and I'm sure you will too, Nick.
That's a different conversation. No one is sitting here saying he's going to be great right away.
So there's plenty of people.
I am telling you he needs to play.
Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you,
he's going to take his lumps. He's going to throw his interceptions. He probably will have a bad preseason game.
And I'm telling you,
he'll probably also have a preseason game where he looks unbelievable, and that's unrealistic too.
Great, I hope he does, and then I'll calm down. But the fact of the matter is, what did you call his day at OTAs? The day that we got to see that was bad. What did you call it?
Yeah, the one that you just brought up.
But here's the thing.
What did you call it, though?
It's
the worst quarterback practice I'd ever seen.
The worst quarterback practice you'd ever seen.
But it's a day.
Yeah.
I think there was one. He had one bad day, though.
And notice.
One day.
But notice how it didn't.
It was one. Not, all the other practices, you would say, like, you would
I'm
never
still
say
right where I've been
that.
this entire time, despite that. I'm not making rash, weird takes that he shouldn't play because of one bad practice, because you didn't mention the other 7-on-7s, which were virtually perfect.